Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Last Minute Laura. I am back. It is the next day now, and like I said, we've got a super duper sunny day today, so I am very pumped to be able to film with some good lighting, which seems to be coming more rarely. So, first things first, for this project I am using Briggs and Little Wool. I'm using their regal wool in several colors. First, for the bottom band, I'm going to be using black. Then, for the middle section, I'm going to be using midnight blue. I'm then going to be using some yellow, some horizon blue, and some copper. And then for that upper sky area, I'm going to be using navy blue. I'm also going to be using a 4mm hook. I'm using an aluminum one today. At the end, to weave in our ends and sew the project together, we're also going to need a yarn needle, and a measuring tape can be helpful as well, just as an extra tool for keeping track of the size and stitches and whatnot. So today we're going to get started on the sleeve. I have already made one of them, so I'm going to be making the second one on camera and giving you the instructions how I'm making the City Place pullover sleeve. And then after that I'm going to block the sleeve. The body pieces are already blocking, and they're pretty much dry already. And I will block the sleeves and then we'll do assembly at the end. So for the sleeve, I'm going to begin still with a 4mm crochet hook. I'm starting with the black yarn again, and I'm going to begin with a slip stitch. After that, we're going to chain 35 and then turn around and double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, and then double crochet across. At the end of that row, chain 2 and turn. Okay, so now we're on row number 2. For the first stitch, we're going to front post double crochet, and then in the second stitch, we're going to back post double crochet. We're doing the exact same rib stitch pattern that we did on the body piece, just with a smaller number of stitches. So for the 3rd stitch, it'll be a front post double crochet, 4th stitch, back post double crochet, and just repeat that all the way across. At the end of the row, chain 2 and turn. So now we're on row number 3, and for row number 3, we're going to be doing exactly the opposite of what we did for row number 2. So our first stitch, we're going to be doing a back post double crochet. And then for the second stitch, we'll do a front post double crochet. So it's the same 2 stitches, we're just reversing the order in which we do them. So that way we're maintaining a rib stitch. So just repeat that front post double crochet, back post double crochet pattern all the way across. And at the end of the row, chain 2 and turn. Again, sorry if the stitches are hard to see. I am using a black wool for this, so it's not going to be super easy to see for this video, but I do have a video with a more in-depth explanation of the front post, back post double crochet, and I do have other sweater tutorials where I kind of have better footage of me using it in a sleeve pattern. So if you want to see some up-close, more detailed versions of the front post, back post double crochet rib stitch for a sleeve, I will put some video links in the description below that might be able to help you with that. Okay, so we made it to row number 4, and row number 4 is a repeat row. We're just going to be doing the same thing that we did for row number 2. So front post double crochet, back post double crochet all the way across. And then row number 5 is going to be a repeat of row number 3, so that's going to be back post double crochet and then front post double crochet, and repeat that all the way across. So I'm just going to zoom through rows 4 and 5, and if you want to make your sweater have a longer cuff, you can keep going. Just keep going for odd numbers. So I'm cutting off at row 5, but you could do row 7, row 9, you could go all the way up to, I don't know, row 11 if you want to. But for this one, I'm just going to be doing to the 5th row with my front post, back post double crochet rib stitch. Okay, so I made it to the end of what I'm doing for my rib stitch for the cuff. I'm going to cut my yarn. Now I'm done with black, and I'm going to be transitioning into the midnight blue next. Okay, so now I'm going to start the rows over again back at 1, just because the rib stitch is kind of its own section. So I'm going to start back counting from 1. So this is row 1, just deal with it. So this first row, we're just going to half double crochet across. I am inserting my hook under the entirety of the stitch rather than just into the top of the stitch. I just like the way it secures the whole sweater sleeve look. I just like how it looks. So you can definitely just go into the top V of the stitch if you like that look better. Give it a shot, try both ways, and see which way you like. Both ways will work. If you want to get really crazy, you could also do something like only work in the front loops or only work in the back loops. It doesn't really matter. The shape of the sleeve is going to be the same because it's just working with increases on either end. So whatever stitch you want to do in the middle, throw a bobble in, or create an eyelet by doing a chain 2 and then skipping 2 stitches. There's so many options for how you can customize sweater sleeves or body sleeves. Just try out some stuff. If you want to see me do any of the things that I just mentioned, or if you have an idea that you want to see me try, let me know in the comments down below. I'm so happy to try tons of new things. I love all things yarn. I'm super into natural dyeing. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Last Minute Laura. I make a lot of sweaters and I make a lot of things, and I am happy to make different things if you suggest them. So yeah, let me know. Now for round 2, we're going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch and 2 half double crochets in the last stitch. Other than that, we are just going to half double crochet all the way across. Okay, and from here on out, it's actually just a repeat of those 2 rows. We're going to be doing 1 row where we have an increase, so that's 2 half double crochets in the first stitch and 2 half double crochets in the last stitch, followed by a row of half double crochet, and we're going to keep doing that until we get to row 46. And for me, that's going to mean a couple of different color changes. I'm going to start with 20 rows of the midnight blue. Then I'm going to do 8 rows of the yellow WO. After that, I'm going to do 2 rows of horizon blue. Then 4 rows of copper. After that, I'm going to do 2 more rows of yellow WO, followed by 6 rows of copper, and then 4 rows of horizon blue, and then 16 rows of midnight blue. For me, the midnight blue is going to be where my increases stop. The way I did it made it so that my increases worked for all of my color changes except for the final one, the navy blue, and for that, from row 47 to row 62, I work in the navy blue straight up. So I'm going to just go through the increases, and then I will come back when we are switching into the navy blue, and I will show you how we're looking. So from this point out, it's pretty much just a repeat of those 2 rows. We have a row of half double crochet across and a row with increases, and we're just going to go back and forth between those 2 rows all the way up until we hit row 46. For me, there's going to be a few color changes in there, so I'm just going to go through the increases sped up because, well, it's just me crocheting the same step over and over and over again, so I'm going to just zoom through that, and then I will show you when we're switching into the navy blue. Alright, so it's the next day now, and I'm just finishing my color changes for the sleeve. I'm now on row 46 and I have 1 stitch left. I'm going to transfer now into the navy blue, and I am now stopping my increases. So I've done an increase on every other row up until row 46, and row 46 is my last increase, and then from here on out, so from row 47 up to row 62, I'm just going to be going back and forth with the half double crochet with no increases, just back and forth. You can make this longer or shorter to fit your arm length. If 62 rows is too long for you, then you could shorten it down a bit. If it's too short, you could definitely make it longer. very easily customizable, but for me this is how wide I want the sleeve, and for me the length will be perfect at 62 rows. So I'm just going to zoom through those rows, and I'll meet you back here once I finish this sleeve. Okay, so I finished the sleeve. Here it is. I went up the last rows in the navy blue, so now my sleeve is done. I have 2 of them. I just have to weave in the ends on this second one, and then I'm going to soak them and block them, so that is going to take another day. And we're in the afternoon now, so I'm going to do that now, and then tomorrow I'll be able to assemble the sweater. Okay friends, we're back. It's the next day again, it's several days later now at this point. But it's assembly day, which is very exciting. It's time to put together the City Place pullover. So I've got the angle a little bit different than I normally have it, just because I'm gonna try something different. We usually, with all of the other pullovers, they're assembled the same way, so I thought I would just change it up a little. We're gonna start with the shoulders. So I've already put my fabric pieces together with the right side facing together. So basically the side that is facing up right now will be the inside. This is where the seam will be, and then we'll turn the whole thing inside out in the end. So to get started, I'm going to still be using my 4mm crochet hook, and I'm going to use some navy blue yarn because I want it to blend. And then I'm going to attach my yarn with a loop after connecting the front piece and back piece of the body pieces. So I'm just going to loop it over my hook and pull it through both loops, and then I'm going to chain one just to secure that together. And now I'm going to just slip stitch the whole top shoulder piece together. Okay, so I made it across that first shoulder, and now I'm just going to secure my yarn off. And then we'll weave that in. But first, I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other shoulder. There we go. Now my shoulders are together, and that's actually the easiest part. Now we're going to spread the body open with those seams that we just sewed facing up. And now we're going to switch into our sewing needle. We're not going to be doing this part in crochet. And I've got my sleeves here. Okay, so now for the sleeves, we're still going to be working in the navy blue. So I'm going to get my little ball of yarn back. And then I'm going to get my sleeve, find the front of it, and we're just going to put it in. Could do with a little bit more stretch, but that's all right. Just going to fit it right into here. And then I'm just going to sew with a blanket stitch. If you don't know what a blanket stitch is, I will link that into the description of this video. But basically I'm just going to sew with a blanket stitch all the way around this sleeve section. I'm done. Okay, now both sleeves are attached. Next step, I'm going to fold still inside out. I'm going to fold it so that the body pieces are back on top of each other and that the sleeves will be folded in half. And now I'm going to slip stitch all across this edge. So I do that in every single pullover tutorial. This is nothing new, just slip stitching all the way across. I'm going to try and color match for some of it until it bothers me. So that's what I'm doing now. Okie dokie, okie dokie. It's pretty much done, friends. So I just turned it right side out and had Alex try it on just to see that the neckline was a good depth. I didn't want it to be too, like, outrageously wide, but I also kind of want it to be a little wider than a regular pullover. So everything in the sleeves is done. I am going to do one row of slip stitches around, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna do slip stitches around the cuff and around the bottom band, just in between each of the front post, back post, double crochet, just to sort of finish it off. But first, I'm going to switch us into black. We're gonna do the top band. I don't know, Alex, what do you think? Because the top is supposed to be the sky, right? I'm gonna do blue. Okay, so the last bit I'm switching. We're gonna do navy blue, and for that, I'm going to connect my yarn just after the shoulder. I want it to be after that seam so that it doesn't show up at all in our final sweater, so that you don't notice this at all. So I'm gonna begin with connecting my yarn, and I'm gonna do a chain 2, and then I am going to do double crochets all the way around. Okay, so I am just coming up to the end of my back post double crochet, front post double crochet rib stitch around the neckline, and I am going to complete now one more row around the neck, but this time I'm going to just complete slip stitches all the way around, and that's going to be it for the neck. I'll weave in the ends, and then I'm going to just slip stitch the cuffs and the bottom rib stitching of the body, like I said, just to tidy it up a little bit. At that point, it's going to be time to block it, which is my favorite, because after that, we get to do dun, da, da, dun, da, 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 the reveal. So this is the City Place pullover. I named it the City Place pullover because my neighborhood is called City Place. In Toronto, it's the high-rise neighborhood, and even though I didn't put any high-rises in the actual sweater, I still think that it captures the vibe of my sunset. I'm gonna pull up my sunrise, sunset pictures that were on my phone that I can see each morning from my view of City Place from my balcony. And you tell me, what do you think? Does this sweater give you sort of a dusty city sunset, sunrise vibes, or do you get some other kind of feel from it? Let me know in the comments below if you like this sweater. If you hated it, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to those of you who have been liking each video and leaving comments on it, and thank you to those of you who've subscribed. Welcome to Last Minute Laura. I really appreciate having you here. I put out a new video every single Tuesday, and I have live streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if you want to stop by, definitely come by 7 a.m. Eastern time. I always have something coming out. Anyways, friends, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!